So now that we've got our chart on its own sheet, we're going to go ahead and adjust this. And like I said, this text is a little small to read. So when you have a chart, you can click on the different elements and you can see I can select like the different bars, I can select the axis labels, I can select the chart title, all these different things. And then I can go to my home tab and still adjust the font settings of this. So it works just like, text boxes and those kinds of things that we've already used before. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my chart title and I'm going to increase the font size to like say 24. And now it's kind of becoming a little bit more readable. Maybe we'll go like 32. And then I can click on the left over here where it says senior, junior, sophomore, and freshman. And you'll see that it will select all of them at the same time. And I can increase that font size to, let's say, like 18. All right. So now if I'm zooming out, I can start really reading things from far away. Maybe I want to make that a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll go like 24 with that as well. Should make my chart title. I'm going to go up to like 44. Okay. Down here at the bottom, I've got my other axis labels that I'm going to go ahead and adjust. And so I made junior, sophomore, freshman be 24. So I'm just going to go down here and make this be 24 as well and make this one be 24 as well. So now I can really read it while being zoomed out and able to see the whole chart, right? So when you have this, you have the ability on the chart design tab, not just to do these data type and location options, but to also add chart elements and chart styles. So when we talk about adding chart elements, the plus sign off to the right of the chart also allows you to do this, where you can do like axis titles. So if I select axis titles, you'll see that these tiny little axis titles pop up. I'm just going to go ahead and select those and make those be 24 as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom one down here on the x-axis. So my y-axis would be, I can just double click on it and then triple click to select everything. I'm going to go ahead and make it be grade level, right? And this is important to put these axis labels in here. Like this would be number of students. And you want these because your reader needs to know what these numbers mean. They need to know what they are representing. And if you don't have this information in there, it's hard to understand. And then the chart title up here, we're just going to go ahead and double click in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put hair color by students. And we can view that here. So we've added an axis label there, an axis title. And you can also see like I can add data labels. So when I add data labels, you can see these tiny little like numbers appear next to the different bars so that you can see what number it actually reaches. I could add a data table down at the bottom, which would be a table of everything that I would have. I could add error bars to show where I might have errors inside my data. I can show a trend line if I wanted to, which trend lines are generally more like for scatter plots and those kinds of things where you have a lot of dots and you're trying to find the trend inside of there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and adjust some things. So right now, down at the bottom, your axis, for instance, has students. We have half students. Well, that doesn't work because you can never have half of a student. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can figure out how to change this so that it only counts by one. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I want you to pause the video here and I want you to see if you can get the options for this axis to be able to adjust how it's counting by. So to be able to adjust this, you have a couple options. On your cursor, you have the ability to click on it, select it, and then right-click and format that axis, okay? This right-clicking inside of charts is a huge thing because there's lots of options. Like you can see, I can add minor grid lines, major grid lines. I can change the chart type. I can adjust the font, all these types of things. But to be able to adjust the whole formatting of the axis, I can open up this side pane over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my beautiful little webcam here. And now you can see off to the right over here, I've got a lot of options. I have right here, there's a ton of things in this little drop-down menu. I have the ability to change whether or not I'm adjusting my chart title, my horizontal axis, my vertical axis, my series. All these different things can be adjusted inside of here all at once without leaving it. And then I have these boxes or icons, so I can adjust the fill-in line of this. I can adjust the styling of it, the effects. I can adjust the size and properties of this axis. I can adjust the axis options like how it's counting. I then have text options up here where I can select text options and I can change the text fill in the outline. I can change the text effects. I can add a text box. So many things that you can do in here, depending on what you're clicked on. So you can see text options is bold right now, but if I click on axis options, it'll take me back to all those other options that I had. So I'm going to go ahead and do an axis option right here. And I'm going to change the minimum. The minimum is going to stay at 0. The maximum I'm going to make 5. And then you can see that it automatically adjusts to count all the way to 5 on my axis here. But then under units, I'm not going to allow it to count by 0.5 for its major unit. I'm only going to allow it to count by 1. And then for minor units, I'm only going to allow it to count by 1 because I only have one student at a time. So when I adjust that, you can now see it says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've adjusted that axis. I have so many other options in this dialog box over here on the right, but we're not going to get into all of them. But if you're ever looking for something, don't forget to right click and open that up. The last thing I want to do in here in this video is change this color real quick. So you can see like when I hover over these are all have names. And again, these are coming from the theme of your spreadsheet, which we'll talk about themes in a little bit. And then you also got chart styles here. And again, these all have names too. So like this would be chart style 11, so on and so forth, just like you would have. But you can see that when you do apply a chart style, it's automatically changing all of your font sizes. So if you adjusted those, you would have to go back and adjust them again.